Add yourself to Stable Diffusion and get your own personal AI art generator? Well, now you can. Before, you could kind of add yourself to Stable Diffusion using textual inversion, but that was hit or miss. It didn't work most of the time. You got some cursed images. It just didn't look as good. Now, using this technique Dream Booth from Google that was ultimately adapted to be able to work with Stable Diffusion, the open source AI image generator, you can now add yourself to your own AI image generator. And the cool part is, it looks exactly like you. You can see from the examples here, it looks really good. It really holds on to the structure of you or whatever. So in order to do this, take a bunch of images that are of the type of image that you're going to make. What do I mean by that? Let's say, for example, you're going to make an image of a person and that person is a man. What you would do is you take a bunch of images of other men, then you get a bunch of images of the person. So let's say yourself in this instance, and then you combine them together, run it through the AI, it trains on those, and then you get on the other end the ability to put out images of yourself. More than likely, in order to be able to do this, you're going to have to rent a GPU, since the GPUs that are capable of doing this aren't really available at consumer level and they're very expensive. However, the GPUs don't cost much to rent. You can get it for about 50 cents an hour, and it should only take an hour to do this unless you have problems. So it could take a little bit longer, but at most you're going to spend a few dollars and you should be able to train this thing. Remember, once you've trained the model on the images and downloaded the file, you can run it on your own local system. You don't actually need the same hardware that you use to generate the model to run the model. That means that once you've made it, you don't have to spend any more money or anything, just to be clear. This video is going to be about you, yes you, to be able to add yourself and explaining how you use Dream Booth, how you add yourself to it using Stable Diffusion, and how you can create your own AI image generator. Let's go. The service we're going to be using to gain access to the GPUs is Vast AI. Keep in mind, right now, to gain access to the GPUs that you need to do this sort of thing, it's difficult sometimes because a lot of the sites, RunPod, Lambda Labs, these are some of the alternatives. Most of them are filled up. You can't really gain access to GPUs. Difference with Vast AI versus those have dedicated servers, whereas Vast AI is a marketplace where people can sell access to their GPUs. So that comes with benefits and comes with negatives as well. So before you start going on any server, creating any Vast AI account or whatever, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your regularization images. So the regularization images are the images of the class, like I said in the intro, that you're a part of, or the thing that you want to create is a part of. For example, if I was going to create a box, I would say a box is from the class container. How do you get these images? You'd want to use your local Stable Diffusion version to just generate images that are of the class it is that you want. Keep in mind, this tech is very new. So there's a lot of stuff up in the air in terms of what's best practice, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, and whatever, right? Like how much images you should use, how long you should run it for, how many. There's a lot of stuff up in the air. In this video, I'm going to be trying to use the minimum amount of things necessary in order to get something like this working. Because if you use more than you need, you end up spending more money. You have to spend more money on the server. You have to do more stuff. So keep that in mind. Right now, it's all over the place. But for regularization images, how you would go about generating them in your local Stable Diffusion install that you have, and you just want to go photo of a class. Remember, if your class is say a man or your class is say container, you'd say photo of a container or photo of a man, and you generate images inside of Stable Diffusion of whatever class it is. As for how many images you want to generate, this is the first point of contention here. So I recommend in this video to do like about 100 images, but people recommend as little as 8 and as much as thousands. So there's obviously a huge range here. The idea supposedly is if you have more regularization images, it will lead to the image being more editable. So it will make it where it can generalize more and you can apply it to more styles, etc. As for confirmation on that information, I can't independently verify that. In this video, we're going to be using 100 because it's easier to work with less images. You have to spend less time uploading and downloading stuff. You have to spend less time actually running the model and training it and stuff. So it's cheaper to use less images. So that is what we're going to be doing inside of this video. Okay, so you want to go into your local Stable Diffusion and you want to type in photo of a etc. Again, for this video, you're going to need Stable Diffusion in order to use it, obviously. If you don't have Stable Diffusion, I have a tutorial on installing Stable Diffusion. That video came out a month ago and technically is already outdated, even though it only came out just now. I'm going to be making an update to that video. That's going to be uploaded soon. Once you have your class, you want to type in photo of your class. As for how many images you want to generate, as I said, in this video, we're going to be using 100 images. So whatever a class is, photo of a man, photo of a container, photo of a whatever. The other thing you're going to want to do, keep in mind, when it comes to generating regularization images, there's other caveats as well with that. Some people say what you need to do is just have images that are representative of the class that you want your image to be part of. What does that mean? It means you don't don't actually need to generate the images with the model itself. You just need to have images that are similar to the class that your image is supposed to be a part of. So basically, you can just get random pictures of men online and then use that as your thing. Again, I have not personally tested that. I don't know how effective that will be. I have used this before, but I've only used it. I haven't personally tested that. I don't know. And as I said, everything's up in the air. This is really new. There's not a lot of people doing this. So it's hard to know what the correct thing is. So the easiest thing to do is just do the thing in the most basic, consistent way to get the best result. And the basic, consistent result is to generate using a version of Stable Diffusion that you have access to already. That's how to do it. Okay. So you want to generate 100 images with whichever Stable Diffusion it is that you currently have access to by typing in the prompt photo of a man, photo of a woman, photo of a dog, photo of a cat, whatever. And after you've generated your images and you've got them nice and tidy, now you want to take images of the thing that you want to generate. So in this case, I'm assuming that it's you that you want to generate. So you'd want to take pictures of yourself. When you're taking your pictures, there's a few things to consider. Okay. First off, you want yourself to be properly featured in the picture. You want to keep in mind the background of the image. If the background of the image is the same, more than likely that will be adopted by the algorithm and it will be included when you generate images. In my images here, you'll see that I actually have the background the same. It was just out of convenience. It was easier to generate my images like that, right? However, I would recommend that at the very least, you try to switch out the backgrounds. The other thing to keep in mind is you want your photos to be square. Ideally, you take the photo as a square to begin with, so it's already a square before you do anything, or you take the photo and you crop it after, but you need them to be a square before you send them over to Stable Diffusion. Ideally, you would need them to be a square. Another thing to keep in mind is you need to have an even number of images. So don't take 15 images, don't take 17 images. You want 16 or 14. That's what you want. Okay. So that's another gotcha that's going to lead to problems and you're not going to know why it's happening. Okay. So make sure you have an even number of images. At this point, I'm assuming I'm not showing any tutorials on how to do these things. So I'm sure you know how to take pictures. Since you need Stable Diffusion already installed, then you know how to generate images with it. So I'm assuming that you already have your 100 regularization images and you already have photos of yourself or however many. Again, I didn't tell you how many photos to do. As for how many photos to do, remember, what did I say? This is very new and there's a bunch of information up in the air. I will say though, in general, people are more consistent when it comes to the number of photos. It's usually just like 20 photos like max or something like around there I've seen. In this video, I think I'm doing about 14 images or so. I'm actually going to be doing two things, right? In this video, I'm going to be generating a non-human character. So I'm going to be generating myself and I'm also going to be doing Naruto. For the Naruto one, I haven't tested that as yet. So I don't actually know how it's going to work. I have tested myself though, but I'm just going through the process for you guys to see how it is from beginning to end. Okay. Other thing to note is when it comes time to get access to GPUs, guys, remember what I said. Sometimes you might have issues gaining access to the GPUs. When you go on, you're in a marketplace and sometimes you try to get a thing and somebody buys it up before you gain access to it. If you go on Vast AI and you don't see GPUs, just come back an hour later, you might be able to see. So that's something to keep in mind. GPUs are scarce right now and it's hard to gain access to these ML GPUs. A lot of them are getting bought up. So keep that in mind. Now, the assumption is you have your regularization images. You have the photos of yourself or your dog or your container or your wife or your whatever. What I want for you to do, take your regularization images, put all of them in one folder. So call it regularization or whatever you want to call it, right? In my case, I have it called man, since those are the images of men, right? And the other case, I also am generating Naruto as I sell. And his class is anime character. I have the photos of Naruto in one folder. So if you go into the photo with anime character, you'll notice that these were images that were generated by Stable Diffusion using, you see that these images are kind of sketch. They're not really good. Stable Diffusion isn't the best at generating anime images. There's a different model that's better at doing that. Maybe it might be better for me to use Waifu Diffusion, which is a better model for generating like anime stuff. I don't know, but I'm doing this just to test how Stable Diffusion would handle something like this. I want to do the two things, the anime character and the human character as well, to show you guys. I haven't tested this as yet. Also, remember, as I said, some people say that it's better to just pick images that look like your class as opposed to images that generated by the thing. Like, especially for this, you can see that these images aren't very good, right? Like if I compare this to the man folder, these images are significantly better than the other images. We're going to be testing it here. I'll see how well Naruto gets added to the thing, but you guys are going to be learning along with me. I've already tested this and I know it works, but for the anime stuff, I haven't tested that. So you get to see the both halves of the thing. So anyway, once you have all the images there, like I have me, I have man, I have Naruto, I have anime character, you have, you know, like you or cat and whatever it is that you have. What you want to do is you want to take them, you want to highlight, and you want to put them in a zip folder, because when you go to use VastAI, you cannot upload files in a folder. You can only upload one file at a time. So, okay, once you have all your images downloaded and they're in their folders, one thing you want to do, you want to come in to your folder and you want to resize your image to be 512 by 512. You have to resize them to be that size. Ideally, when you're taking your photo, you could potentially set it to 512 by 512 initially, but I think that would drop the quality too significantly. You're probably better off just resizing the image after the fact. If you want to do that, you can install Microsoft Power Tools. It comes with a resizer. Once it's installed in your thing, come here, highlight all the images, and assuming you install Microsoft Power Tools, right click, it should be here in whatever language it is that you speak. You just want to resize, you click on this, it'll show up a menu here, and you want to set this to 512 by 512. So these are the sizes here, and then you simply just resize, and it will generate a bunch of new images in the folder. So I'm actually just going to remove the original images from the folder. Okay, so we're just going to check here just to make sure nothing happened wrong. So you can see 512 by 512, 512 by 512, 512 by 512, 512 by 512, okay. Also, I'm going to go to the Naruto folder here. You can see that these images aren't resized appropriately, because remember, they need to be a square and it needs to be 512 by 512. So what I'll do is I'll come to the first one here. This is another thing too. If you're going to do like a bunch of images, if you have to resize them, then obviously if you're doing so manually, it's going to take too long. I just have a few images here, so I can do that manually. But if you're doing more images than I recommend, we'll have to figure out an automated way for resizing the images. But if it's only a few ones, you could just do it yourself. So let's come here. This program that I'm using is ImageGlass, but you can use anything that allows you to crop an image. There's a lot of stuff out there, but I'm using ImageGlass in this video. I'll put a link to it, I guess, as well. Basically, I'm just going to come here now. I'm going to max it out on the width thing, even though like realistically, there's no extra data here. Max it out on width. So the width is like 860. So I just come here, I type in 860, turn it into a square, move this down. I can click save as to save it as a separate file, but I'm just going to save it over the current file. So overwrite the current file, save it, and now we have the cropped photo there. So this is a cropped image, even though the actual thing didn't change here. And then what I want to do, same thing I did with my images, right? I come, I right click, I click resize 512 by 512. Okay, so great. I've resized all the images. Yeah, so now I have all of them. They're all cropped. They're 512 by 512. You want to come here, take this and right click, send to is what this would say in English, and compress zip folder into one folder like this. Okay, the reason why we're putting this in a zip file, by the way, is because with Jupyter Notebooks that VastAI uses, you can only upload files one at a time. So with this, that's all the files. The only other thing you're going to need, you're going to want a Hugging Face account. Okay, you're going to want to have a Hugging Face account. Hugging Face is just a website that this is where you're going to download the Stable Diffusion model from. When you're there, you're going to download it from the computer in the cloud that you're going to use. That makes it quicker because the internet on those things are usually faster. So it's better than downloading to your system and uploading it there. Just download it directly from Hugging Face. So now it's time to head over to VastAI. So we're on vastai.com, right? If you just go to vastai.com, you just want to click on demand pricing here. So you should already have your account set up and stuff, and you should be able to see this screen, right? The first thing you want to do before you do anything is you want to go to edit image and config. You want to come down to PyTorch, select this, then click select. So now once that's there, you should be set up there. The first thing you're going to want to do, so in order to be able to run DreamBoost, you need a GPU with about 40 gigabytes of VRAM or more. Here's the thing, there's some potential to be able to run this on 3090s. Remember what I said? A lot of stuff is up in the air. There's a lot of new stuff. That's not sussed out 100% as yet, but there's some potential that you might be able to run it on that. If it is that you can run it on a 3090, I'll make sure to update you guys. So that means that you're limited in the GPU selection that you can have. The GPUs that you want to be looking at, when you come over here to any GPU, you want to click on a A6000, which is a GPU with 40 gigabytes of VRAM, which you will see there's only 3 rigs available right now. And then you come here and another one is the A100. You want to make sure it's the 80 gigabyte A100. Again, there's also a 40 gigabyte A100, which this should work on, but I saw some people having issues and complaining and stuff. So just to avoid that headache, just the 80 gigabyte A100 is the other GPU that this can work on. But this one is more expensive than if you just went for the A6000. And ideally, you want to get the cheapest per hour GPU. So technically, if you get like 2 GPUs, for example, here, 2 GPUs is going to be even faster and whatever. The issue is 2 GPUs is more per hour. So if you make any mistakes, it costs you more because in that time that you're trying to fix your mistake, you're spending more money per hour. So really, you want the cheapest per hour thing you can get, and that's at A6000. Here's the thing though, this is capable of running on 3090s. You can see when it came to A6000s and A100, there's like 3 rigs for both of them. That's like nothing. But if you come to the 3090s, there's way more 3090s available. There's even like a show more at the bottom here, right? So there's way more, not to mention some of you probably have 3090s. Not many of you probably have A6000s considering it's a $5,000 GPU, but some of you might actually have 3090s to be able to run this on your own systems. But in this video, we're not going to be using 3090s, we're going to be using A6000s. So first thing you want to mess with is disk space to allocate. This is how much space the instance is going to have access to. You want to make sure this is not too small, otherwise you won't even be able to download the files once you end up on the instance, okay? So you need to make sure you have enough space because you cannot increase the space after the fact. You have to delete the instance and start over, and you get billed for that time that you're using an instance that you can't even do your thing properly, right? So I would say the minimum amount you want to set this to is about 100 or so. But like realistically, you could probably do about 50. You could see like one of the rigs disappeared because different rigs have different maximum amounts that they allow you to set. So if I go down all the way here, you can see that these rigs max is 47. This one's max 23. This is too small. 47 could potentially work, but we're not taking any chances here. So you want to go up to like 100. And also you can see right now, I wanted to use one with only one A6000, but there's actually none with only one A6000. There's only this one that's available right now. And this is the thing, you're going to get what's there, okay? And 2 A6000s will be faster, right? However, as I said, that means more money spent fixing mistakes, because anytime there's a problem, you're essentially spending money in that time. So this is faster if there's no mistakes, more expensive if there is mistakes. So the first things you want to check is you want to check the download speed here and the upload speed. You want to make sure both of those are pretty high, because when it comes to the download speed, that's how fast it's going to download the stuff to the server. So you're going to have to download a bunch of stuff to be able to do this. You want to make sure you can download all the files in the requisite amount of time and it doesn't take too long. If it takes too long, then you're spending money downloading files and not actually running your model, and that's not what you want. The other one you want to make sure is the upload speed. The upload speed is how fast it sends the files back to you. If it takes too long to send the files back to you, then you're spending money even after you've trained up your model, you've done all your fancy stuff, you're there, you need to download the file. And when it comes time to download the file, if the upload speed is too slow, it's going to be very slow because you're uploading that from their machine to your machine. So it's going to be slow. You understand? So you have to keep that in mind as well. The other thing you want to keep in mind, so we have the size. The other thing you want to check here is reliability. So this is how consistently, how reliable the machine is. Right? Make sure to set this to the amount, because keep in mind, this is not just a setting for searching for rigs. You're actually setting the amount of space that the instance is going to have in this menu. So make sure it's set to the amount that you need. So again, I'm forced to take this machine as the only A6000 one available. Okay, great. This is the one we're going to use. So we just come over here, click rent. So you can see instance created. I can click instance here on my thing. I can see the instance is now booting up. Okay, so once your instance is properly booted up, you want to come here and click open. So now I'm inside of the instance. Okay, so this is on somebody else's computer right now. Oh, I also forgot to mention, because you're using somebody else's computer, make sure you don't have any images that you upload here that you don't want other people to have. So that's something to keep in mind. I forgot to say that. So you want to come up here to new, click terminal. That should open up a black box like this. And you want to start entering in some command. You can't just copy and paste into this window. So if you copy paste like Control V, Control C, it's not going to work. You want to right click and then paste. So the first command you're going to have is this. I'm going to have all of the commands in order in the description, so you can just copy them from there and send them over here. A lot of these are going to come from this guy here who made a comment on the DreamBoot Stable Diffusion GitHub. So I just want to make sure people get their credit. I'm just going to come here and you want to paste. So this is paste here. You click that, git clone. This is going to download the DreamBoot repository. Enter. That shouldn't take too long, so it downloads there. Next thing you want to do, head in to this DreamBoot folder. So to do that, you just want to go CD and you want to type in the name of the DreamBoot folder here, right? All the commands in the order that they're set in the video are going to be in the description, so you can just copy and paste from there. So you just come paste CD DreamBoot Stable Diffusion. That's the name of the DreamBoot folder. Enter. What you're going to want to do now, this command, which should be familiar to you if you've already installed Stable Diffusion on your local system. I'm going to take this, paste it in. Remember, all the commands in order in the description. Enter. So now this is going to start downloading all the files. Remember, you need to make sure you're in the Dream Boot folder to do this, okay? If you don't do this, it won't find the file. So make sure you're in the Dream Boot folder before you do that. But you should see that it's doing this here. It's downloading the files necessary. This is going to take a little bit. So we're actually going to do some other stuff while this is happening. What you can do is just come here. So open this up in a new tab. You can just either right click, open a new tab, or just middle mouse click onto it. This opens up a new tab. Now you want to come here, new terminal. Other one is still running in the background. You didn't stop that. It's still going, so don't worry. And what we're going to do now is download the Stable Diffusion model. So you're going to take this command here and you're going to replace the username portion with your username and the password portion with your password. Again, using stuff like this, remember, this is somebody else's machine. This is a password for your Hugging Face account. Realistically, I'd imagine you probably don't have a ton of important things on there unless you're a developer or something, in which case you probably already know how to do this. However, just keep that in mind. This is someone's machine and you're putting username and password, stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. Of course, you can just put it in, download the model, and immediately change the password. But just keep that in mind. So you want to take that, replacing the password for your Hugging Face account and the username with your username. So when I come and I paste that in, this is going to put in your password, your username, and all that stuff. And then you just enter this. Now this is going to start downloading the Stable Diffusion model. The internet on this machine is obviously really fast. And that's why you checked before that the download was really high and the upload was really high. So you're not going to have to wait long, even though it's a large file for it to download. So keep that in mind. That's why we check that ahead of time so we don't get burned when we get here. So now you can go again, either right clicking and opening a new window or middle mouse clicking Jupyter, heading over to that tab. And what we want to do now, come here and click upload and then click on the folder that contained the images that I told you to download. You just want to open that. You want to download that. So we click open, okay, and you'll see that it doesn't start uploading as yet, right? You have to actually come and click upload, which you would have to do for literally every single file if that's what you did. So now what we want to do here is you want to come new terminal. This is another terminal. The two other terminals are still running in the background. Don't worry. Type in Python. You know, type in Python. This is going to launch Python. You're going to use this because to extract the file, you can't just click on it. It's not going to work. You have to extract it with something special. So that's why we're doing this. Again, you want to take these commands and enter them in order. If when you paste the command in, you see any extra characters from what it is that you put in, make sure to remove those. So when I type the thing and I see these things here, I'm going to remove that. So just backspace there, move down, and then backspace out these. So the first line should be import zip file as ZF. That should be the first line. You press enter. You shouldn't see anything happen. That's good, because if you did something wrong, something would have happened. So it's good that nothing happened. We just move on to the next line. Paste the next line. So we have files is equal to zf.zip file with the capital letters where they need to be. And then you have file.zip. That is if the file that you uploaded was named file.zip. In our case, we named it A. So we're just going to come here. Let's go A.zip. And then we click enter, right? Again, nothing happened. That's good. Nothing happened. Now what you want to do, files.extract all and have these opening and closing brackets. This is now going to extract the files out of the zip file. Enter. So nothing happened, which is good. So we're going to come back here, go to the main Jupyter page. And now you should see all the files that were in our zip file are here. This is one of the reasons, by the way, why you put it inside of a folder inside of the folder, so you just don't just end up with 100 files here. So all the files here, we have the man folder, we have the me folder, we have Naruto folder, and the anime character folder. Okay, we've extracted everything. We can come back over here to the Python thing, close this off. Now we can come back here. We want to click anime character, man, me, Naruto. So that's all of the folders that we made. Copy the name of the Dream Boot Stable Diffusion folder. Make sure you don't select it, and then go move, and then you want to say the folder you want to put in, which is just the name of the folder. Again, you're already in the workspace directory, so you just have to put the name of this folder here, and then click move. Assuming you didn't see any errors, that means you did it correctly. So we can come in here, we can go to Dream Boot Stable Diffusion folder, and we can see that our files are here. Now we're going to check up on the terminals that we had running from before. So you can see here, no errors. It went through successfully. Everything's good. Conda activate. Good. That's good. That's what we want to see. You want to come here and you want to go conda init bash. You want to type this command in. This allows you to be able to use Anaconda. You don't have to know what that is, but you need to do this in order for the thing to work. So just type in that. All right, great. You should see this, by the way. You should see no change, no change, no change, no change, no change, no change. You should see that, right? So once you have that happen, close off these things, close off all the terminal instances that you have. And now you should start a new terminal again. And what you should see, so now you see at the front here, you see the word base. That means the conda init bash worked, and now you can use conda. So what you want to do now, so you want to do conda activate LDM. And now you should see at the front here, so it changes from base. I know I'm pointing at the screen, but you can't actually see where I'm pointing, so it doesn't make any sense. So you want to see, you want to go from base to LDM. That means you're in the folder. If you didn't see any errors, good, great. Here's what you want to do. You want to go into the Dream Boot Stable Diffusion folder. You want to go into LDM, data, personalized os.py. Go into this. There's actually an issue specifically with Vast AI where because the script doesn't check if the file that it's using is an image, you can end up with an error because it tries to treat a folder. I forgot to mention this in the video, but if you want to change the default name from what it is, SKS, you need to type this token in when you're generating your image. The default is SKS, and you probably should change it honestly, since it was just a random series of letters that the author thought didn't refer to anything, but actually does refer to something. So it's best to probably change it to something else, maybe your name or some other random series of characters. You can see it right here, photo of a SKS. Change that to something else. I change it for the Naruto one. I change it to Naruto because Naruto is already anything. I just wanted to improve the ability of Stable Diffusion to develop Naruto. So just keep that in mind. As if it's a picture. You understand? So you have to add in something here to make sure it skips the folder. So here's what you do. You come to here to go os.pat.join self.data.root file path. Anyway, you want to come to this part for file path in os.lister self.data.root. In this, if file underscore path, again in the description, okay, so don't worry, you really just have to copy and paste more than likely, but I'm typing it out here. If not file path dot ends with, or you make sure you have quotes and then points. Basically the name of the folder that is getting messed up with this is ends with the word, it's ip.checkpoints or something like that, and it's an invisible folder to Jupyter Notebooks, so you won't be able to delete the folder from Jupyter Notebooks, which is why we're doing it like this. So this just ignores that file so you don't end up with that error. Also, make sure there's no other stuff in the folder other than the images that you're supposed to use. That's another thing to keep in mind, okay? Once you add that in, come to File, Save. You can close this off, go up. So now you can go again. You can go Configs, Stable Diffusion, V1 Fine-Tune Unfrozen.yaml. You can come down here and the default steps is 800, okay? I'm actually gonna leave it at that amount, but if you want to train the thing for longer, you can adjust this number. In fact, I'll actually change it. I'll change it to 1000. So then you come up here, you go File, Save, okay? You go back to the main page. There's another thing you need to download. I know it's a lot, guys, but it's like, you just have to train this up once, okay? Don't worry. From inside the Dream Boot folder, one of the additional things you want to do, you're gonna type make directory data, enter. This is gonna make a folder called data in your Dream Boot folder. And then you want to download this file. This is going to download a font file, which apparently there's an error if you train. I think it only happens actually if you train beyond the default amount of steps. But still, there's an error. You need to make sure you've downloaded this file. Okay, downloads the file. Great. Now you want to take this command. Notice the -- no test at the end here. This is necessary because if you train more than the default amount of the steps can happen. So you need to add that in to prevent that error. Okay, so I'm inside the LDM space. I'm in the Dream Boot folder and I'm about to run the command that I just showed you here. Few things to note. If you got a system with more than one GPU, you want to adjust the numbers that you see here. So you're going to come here and you see that this says GPUs 0. 0 is the first GPU in the system. So what you're going to want to do is do 1 if you have 2 GPUs. The machine that I gained access to has 2 GPUs. So I want it to be on 0 and 1. The next thing is you want to take data root. The data root should be changed to whatever the name of the folder that you named it is. So in my case, all the pictures of me are in the me folder. And all the pictures of the man are in the man folder, okay? And since I'm already inside of the Dream Boot folder, I don't have to put anything else. I just have to say me and man. Keep in mind, this is case sensitive. So if you have capital, you have to put capital here. If it's common, you have to put common here. Keep that in mind. So me, and I will change this one, the reg, to man. The other thing you want to do, the class word is the name of the class from earlier. So in my case, the class is man, but in your case, it might be woman, it might be dog, it might be container or box, whatever. You need to make sure that the class is here. So yeah, so we have the, I forgot to move the Stable Diffusion thing into the folder. Whoops. So now you want to move the Stable Diffusion checkpoint into the Dream Boot folder. So come here, click on this, click move, and this should put it into the Dream Boot folder. So first off, click off of this. You want to copy this first. Click on that. Move now Dream Boot Stable Diffusion. Move. I moved it inside of the stable Dream Boot folder. So now from my thing here, you can see I have my model here. This right here, the -n, I'll call it Ting Ting. So that should just be that's gonna be the name of the folder. So just put that. That's just the name of where what it's calling this test, I guess you could call it, right? So yeah, assuming you have everything correct, you selected your name, you have man, you have that, you have make sure that the names are capital if they're capital, lowercase if they're lowercase. Let me just check one more time to make sure there's nothing wrong with that. So I go into the Dream Boot folder. folder. Yeah, me is capital, man is capital. Here, me is capital, man is capital. Okay, great. So then it's as simple as just clicking enter and you should start to train. So we're just gonna wait here. There's still a few more gotchas, by the way, that you have to sort out. Don't worry, we're gonna get through it. Oh, it has to download some stuff first before it starts. I don't think it's much stuff though. Actually, it's a 1 GB file. Never mind, I forgot about that. I guess it's just the internet on these machines are very fast. Okay, well, I guess we can move over. I just wanted to babysit it for a little bit. But another thing you want to download, get a new terminal open, and then you want to do git clone, and then you want to type this link here. .git should already be at the end of it, right? And what this is going to do is download a file that allows you to prune the checkpoint. After you've trained the checkpoint here, it's going to be about 12 GB, but it has a bunch of extra information that is only necessary for training and not necessarily for running. Considering you just want to run it on your own system and not train it on your own system, then that's a bunch of information you don't need. So when you prune it down, it comes down to about 2-3 gigs, so much smaller. So we just do this. Yeah, that just downloads the file. We don't need it right now. We need it when the file is currently trained, but we just download that for now. So you can see it here in this one. You can see my model here is training. I got my max steps at 1,000 here. And well, now we just wait until it's finished. Okay, great. If you're watching this, guys, from the last section that you saw, this part of the video is hours later, like about 5 or 6 or so hours later. I had a bunch of problems, a bunch of issues. I don't even want to get into it. Okay, but basically, I think with me taking the images against the background, I think it was hard for the thing to discern what was the person and what was the background. And also the fact that I only showed my top half instead of showing like more parts of my body made it harder for it to understand I was supposed to be a person and stuff. In order for this to work, I would have had to have changed all of those things, and it was really annoying. I had to set up a bunch of different instances and stuff. I had all kinds of problems. It was really, really, really annoying, guys. Literally, it's the next day now. I started recording that at night. It's now like, what, 5 o'clock or so in the morning or something like that. So yeah, really stressful. Okay, technically I started early in the morning, right? I really started early in the morning, but now it's like, I think 4:30 or something. So it's really, really, really annoying trying to sort out all that stuff. Granted, by the way, you won't have those problems when you do it. The problems I had was how I took the pictures. So keep in mind, if you're not going to be wearing a suit or have things that obviously make you look non-human or stuff, I tried this and it worked before, which is like crazy for me. I thought this was going to be trivial, but it didn't. But for you, it will work fine if you have a normal human looking figure. Again, you can look at these examples of people who did things similar to what it is that I did, and they have obviously images that look like them. These are really good representations of what it can do. Also, you can look at images of me. This is with a different model, not the one I just made. This is a different one, and you can see it obviously works. So yeah, like, this is what happens when you do this live. I believe the Naruto model, however, I think that one works better. I'm still on VastAI here. VastAI. I'm still on VastAI here. But like, yeah, I had to spin up a bunch of instances. Hopefully everything's mostly the same for what it is, because I literally can't even remember what I said like before in the first half of the video. But like, hopefully most of the stuff is where it should be. 99% of you are not gonna have this problem. You're just gonna be generating images of yourself. You're not gonna be in a green suit on LED glasses and all this stuff. What I'm gonna show you here, maybe I'll show some of the cursed images that were actually generated by the thing. I can actually show you some of these cursed images so you can see like what it was actually doing. But the model, I'm gonna be showing you the model. I'm gonna be showing you the Naruto one, since that one actually worked. And I'm also gonna be showing you the other model that I generated yesterday. That is not the one I generated today. That's from yesterday, right? So that one actually works too. So yeah, before we do all that stuff, first what we have to do, we have to download the files. I believe this is where I told you guys to download the file before. I am not sure. Hopefully it's here, right? But you want to go into your terminal file. You got terminal. Actually, whoa. That's not what you want to do. What you want to do first is VastAI has this problem where when you try to go in your checkpoints folder, it doesn't work. So where the model files are stored is here. So you go in your Dream Boot folder, Dream Booth, logs, and then all the models that you have are here. You can see like in this folder, I have a bunch of ones. That's because I did a bunch of tests. And this is even the first instance I had to spin up. So I spin up other instances that you don't even see. You come here now and you want to go into the one that you just made. So that should be the latest one. So it should be this one, right? And then you click on checkpoints. But when I click on it, you see nothing happens. This thing changes, but I don't go into the folder. Yeah, there's a problem with actually accessing your checkpoints folder on VastAI. I have no idea why it's like that, but well, this was an issue I expected to have. I knew this was going to happen, but still, that's really annoying. So here's what you have to do. You actually have to access the folder from the terminal and not from VastAI. It's really annoying. So you want to come and you want to take your folder. So currently I'm in the workspace folder here inside of the terminal. So I want to come here, take Dream Boot Stable Diffusion, kind of go cd Dream Boot Stable Diffusion, right? Oh, slash logs slash name of the folder that contains your images. So I copy that, paste here. Again, make sure the slashes are in between. Slash cd Stable Diffusion logs, yeah, enter. So if you didn't see any errors or anything, you did it correctly. Now you can see that I'm in a different folder here. I'm in the folder I just said to go into. If I come here, this is what's inside of this folder. Checkpoints is where your files are. That's the folder I want to get out. I can't open the folder. So I need to come here, go MV, short for move, and then go checkpoints. That's the name. Well, that's the name of the folder that we're selecting there. Then you want to put space followed by the name of the directory you want to move the checkpoint folder to. We're going to move it to the workspace directory, which is the main directory that has all of the main root directory for everything when you boot up the thing for the first time. Okay, that's where we're going to put it. So we're going to go slash workspace. Yeah, slash workspace. And this is going to take the checkpoint folder from where it is and move it out. Hit enter. You see no errors, right? Which means it worked. And now you can see checkpoints. And if I click it now, it still doesn't let me in. Okay, great. Well, here's what you do, right? If it still doesn't let you in here, terminal, make sure you're in the workspace. So after you've moved the file, if you still can't get in, I can't get in. I did this before and I was allowed to get in. It's not letting me in. Okay, great. Because I didn't have enough problems this video. Now go MV checkpoints last.ckpt, which is the name of the file that you just trained. You're going to move it out of the folder and go slash workspace. So now you can see last.checkpoint. That's the name of the checkpoint file that we trained. Okay, so we're going to leave this open here. So now what we want to do now is in the main folder here, Dream Boot Esquite Pruning, we're going to copy this, go Python, paste Dream Boot Esquite Pruning. So this is the name of the folder that contains the prune file. Then we'll go slash prune dash ckpt. Again, this is the name of the file in that folder. So let me actually show you here. If you open up this folder, there's prune dash ckpt.py. So prune dash ckpt.py. The next thing you have to link is the name of the file. So because I moved it out to the workspace directory and I'm in the workspace directory, all I would have to do is just go dash ckpt. So I have to put that in when I'm sending it into the file and just go last.ckpt. And it should take a little bit to do this, not too long, like 20-30 seconds or so. So it's finished. If I come out here now to the main folder, what you'll see now is last-pruned and it's only 2 gigs large. Okay, great. So we can actually start downloading this file immediately. Just to not waste any more money since we've already wasted too much as it is. You know, make sure to download the file, save it wherever you think, you know, you save your files and stuff. So obviously see, this is significantly smaller than the other file. You'd have to download way more if you're doing the other thing. So now we basically, well, for you, you're finished, but I still have to do it for my other file. So, all right, I got my file downloaded. If you want to use it, you head to the folder where you have your stable. Again, this assumes you're using a local Stable Diffusion install. You head to the folder where you have your Stable Diffusion model, and you basically want to just take your current model. So you have model.checkpoint more than likely wherever you store your traditional file, and you want to replace that file with this one. So I'll come here. So I'll just take my current model and I'll come to where my file was downloaded. So wherever your file was downloaded, you're going to move it from there and put it in this folder. Now you want to rename it to model checkpoint. Just do it like that, right? That's how it's going to work for most of them. Just replace the regular SD model with this file and name it the same thing because it works the same way. So great. Now we can finally, 5 hours late, actually test this out. So let's actually open this up here. So this UI is the automatic, I think it's 11111 UI, just like a UI for interacting with Stable Diffusion and stuff. So like now we're here, okay? So remember, this model is the Naruto one that we're using, right? So what we're gonna type here, all you have to do, photo of a Naruto anime character. Okay, so his class was anime character, his name was Naruto, because that's what we set in the file. So yeah, moment of truth, guys. Let's set this to like 50 steps and just one image on KLMS. Let's go. Oh, I probably should show you images of what Naruto looked like on the old model. If you look at these here, this is what it looked like. You can clearly see pretty sketch, definitely like pseudo Naruto. So first image. Okay, so obviously, looking at this, way better than the other one, right? But you can see there's a big problem with the face there. So what we could try to do is just increase the steps, because that's usually how we fix this, though this is a lot of noise. So you can already see, this is way better than the old model. It clearly understands who Naruto is. It looks like him. It has his essence. So we're going to do 150. So we're going to use the same seed. So one feature that this UI has, if you want to use the same seed, you just click this button here. This takes the seed from the last generation. I could do multiple images, but I just want to see what this one looks like. So we're just going to do that. So you can see here, by upping the steps, all of that noise disappeared. So the face is still very derpy, you know, not 110%, but that's kind of par for the course with Stable Diffusion. And also the images that I gave were like full body images. I didn't give images that were like closer to the face, which would have improved the face quality. And then SD was already bad at doing this to begin with, but this is way better than any of the stuff you would have seen here in terms of, it clearly didn't even know who Naruto was. It didn't know at all. So let's try another one. Let's do, now, first off, let's drop this. Actually, let's do Eula instead. Drop it even more. Let's do Naruto anime character screenshot. I'm gonna screenshot from Fortnite. I believe they actually added, they had something with Naruto in Fortnite. I'm not 100% sure. The data was gathered before that happened, so that's not in the data set at all. So anyway, yeah, let's also do more than one image. Let's do 4 images or something. This is what I wanted to do, guys. I wanted to mess around with the models and stuff and generate the images and do all of that cool stuff. But no, 5 hours of headache just decided it wanted to stop me dead in my tracks. I think this video is already too long. I mean, it's definitely too long, but I mean, like, even after I cut out the stuff, I feel like the tutorial portion of this video ended up taking way too long. I doubt I have much time to spend here. Regardless, we're generating the Naruto images. Come on, let me see what we get. Oh, okay. So again, wait. It actually made it more 3D on this one. You can see that all of them, he has the Shippuden look that he has, that the suit, because Naruto has multiple suits and stuff that he wore throughout the anime and stuff. But you can see that he's more consistent. Again, the face is kind of derpy, but I feel like this is just like SD when it comes to anime characters in general. It's not 100%. It might have been better to train this model with Waifu Diffusion. Waifu Diffusion is like a different Stable Diffusion model that specializes in anime and stuff. Or like Trin Art, which is also the same thing. This space just has so much stuff. It's blown up so much. There's so many different things. It's like, it's getting hard to keep track of. Wait, I just realized they updated this image viewer. I didn't even realize that. They changed this. This is not how it was before. Yeah, this is not how it was. The images are bigger and stuff. Yeah, that's another thing with automatic as well, guys. This is constantly updating. It's constantly making changes, constantly doing stuff. There's like a million different features that you have access. Photo of Naruto as an anime character, as a... I'm just gonna remove anime, because that wasn't the thing. As a man, how should I say? I'll go F/, which is like something that you see a lot on photography, like DSLR, ISO and MM. Okay, so this is kind of weird, but basically what this is when you're taking a picture, these are settings that you set in your camera, and these are like effectively, instead of saying like specific settings, we're just looking for images that have these things attached to them. So basically it's a way of saying photo without saying photo. So I'm just gonna generate this 4 images again. All right, so when I say photo, yeah, it's gonna be hard. You know, the funny thing is though, adding the photo words probably made him more, it fixed up his face and stuff, and his hands are like really good too. Like SD kind of sucks with hands. His hands are like really well put together. I mean, well, you know, for the most part. All right, very clearly. Okay, Naruto was added. That was a success. Okay, great. Okay, great. Naruto was added. Let me actually change that. One of the cool things you can do with automatic is you can actually swap models live. So I'm actually gonna swap here to another model. So me.checkpoint. If I click this and I click apply, so now I should be able to generate images using the model that I'm a part of. So what I'm gonna do is photo of SKS man. I guess I'll leave these extra things. SKS is the default word, so if I had changed the thing, it'd be photo of Ting Ting and man is what it would be. Wait a second, I forgot to turn off the Vast AI thing, so I'm still getting billed for that. Oh my god. Oh, that was intentional. I wanted you guys to see that when you forget, this way. So when you come over here, just click delete. Okay, you can see the age of my thing, 4 hours. Oh my god, Jesus Christ. Yeah, just delete the thing there. And then there you go. You won't be getting charged money anymore. Pretty sure this is the wrong one. Well, it seems like there could be an issue with hot loading models that are different. Well, guys, yeah, well, that is the end to a very long saga. I have images that I generated of myself that you can see here. So if you want proof and stuff, like you can see the images I'm showing up on the screen there. I wanted to generate images with the thing. I guess it doesn't want to cooperate with me because not enough went wrong today. But hopefully, thankfully, you won't actually experience these problems unless you also happen to wear green suits and LED glasses and take pictures on plain blue backgrounds and stuff. So yeah. for you, nothing really changes, okay? But hopefully this was able to help some of you. I know a lot of you wanted to people kept asking for how to add themselves or how to make modifications to Stable Diffusion, make more custom outputs and stuff. And this is something that you do. I often say if you want to have more control over the output, then all you have to do is edit the image. The cool thing about Stable Diffusion is that you don't have to be like a Photoshop expert in order to use it. You can do minimal stuff with Photoshop and make your images look way better with minimal understanding. And I definitely, as someone who doesn't like to use Photoshop and is not particularly good, hopefully you were able to get the information you wanted out of this video. This was able to help you, and yeah, catch you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching the video.